Hello and welcome back to another video, and today, as you can see, we're doing something a little bit different as we're here on F1 2020, and today we're looking at the newly released F1 2021 season mod by Adrian. I've been really looking forward to this mod coming out, and it's finally out, so I can finally do a video on it and show it off to you guys, because I've been looking forward to it for quite a while. So let's get straight into it and show off the cars. So before we go any further, I probably should quickly explain that there's no way to actually change text in F1 2020, so the teams and the drivers will all have their old 2020 names, but it's not the modder's fault. There's nothing that can be done about that. The only way to really do it is to load up Cheat Engine and just modify the memory values, and you have to do that every single time you load up the game, so it's not like a mod you can actually make, really. So unfortunately, there will still be the old team names and old driver names, but nothing the modders can do about that. So then, we'll go through each team to show off the drivers for this season. So we've got Mercedes, which first of all, there's no change here. There's just Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. So up next we've got Ferrari, so we've got Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. Then we've got Red Bull Racing, of course still called Aston Martin Red Bull Racing, but nothing you can do about that. So we've got Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, and I must say that Perez's helmet and his cap just look so cool in this mod. I really like them, and I also like the fact that he's added some of Perez's personal sponsors to the car and the suit as well. Just a really nice touch there. So up next is McLaren. We've got Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris. Then we've got the newly rebranded Alpine team, obviously previously Renault. We've got Fernando Alonso in one car, and in the other we've got Esteban Ocon. Then we've got AlphaTauri. In the AlphaTauri we've got Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly. Then in the newly rebranded Aston Martin racing team we have got the four-time world champion Sebastian Vettel alongside Lance Stroll. And I must say, this is the first time I'm seeing all the helmets and stuff. Lance Stroll's helmet actually looks really sick in green. And Vettel's helmet as well looks really cool in Aston Martin. So next up is Alfa Romeo, and there's no driver changes here. We've still got Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi for, I think it's the third season in a row now, so that pairing really getting to know each other pretty well. Then we've got Haas is probably obviously the biggest lineup change of the whole grid. We've got two rookies, we've got Nikita Mazepin and Mick Schumacher, obviously the son of Michael. And then finally, once again, another unchanged livery. We've got Williams, George Russell and Nicholas Latifi. So now we've gone through the grid, just briefly showing off the drivers, and obviously you've seen little screenshots of the cars there as well. We're going to head into a race, and I think I am going to play as Sebastian Vettel, obviously one of the biggest changes in the whole grid, obviously Vettel going to Racing Point. And we'll do it at Bahrain, since that will be the first race of the season, so we'll head down to the grid, and I'll see you there. So we're down here on the grid then at Bahrain, and we're doing a 25% race here. We're starting in P12, because this is where the game has put me. It'll be a one-stop strategy then, super softs to the... Actually, it's just the softs to the mediums, isn't it? They're not called the super softs anymore, the red. They've not been called the super softs for quite a while, but soft to the mediums then. So easy one-stop, 21-minute race it will be. Obviously, I'm not going to show the whole thing. So let's get this race started then. Hopefully we can make up some decent progress on this opening lap. We've got a McLaren just in front of us, so hopefully we can try and jump them off the line. So it's Norris just in front of us in 11th place. We see Ricciardo a few places up the road as well. Ocon in front of us. Lights on, away we go. Decent start then. We've jumped past the McLaren of Norris already. We're alongside Nikita Mazepin. How are the two Haas cars in the top 10? What's happened in this qualifying? Hamilton's at a P8, so something's gone on in this qualifying session that I've skipped it. I didn't do the qualifying or anything like that, but something weird has happened here. So Lando Norris trying to find his way down the left-hand side of us, down towards turn 3. I should have used some more energy there to keep in front of him. We've locked up, almost hitting the back of Esteban Ocon. Norris still hanging it around the outside, so still in 11th place, side by side with Lando Norris and the McLaren. Have we finally got the position? Yes, we finally got ahead of him then. So just in front of us then it is Ocon. We're going to look at the inside of Ocon because he's being held up by Nikita Mazepin. Have we got past Ocon? No, still side by side with him. Jeff telling me that I've had a good start here. Still stuck behind this Alpine. A little lock up on the front left there. Can we get him out of here on the power? Using a bit of energy again in the slipstream to the left-hand side then. We've got flying past him up into 11th. I think we're still side by side though. Yes, we are. So we're not going to quite get him here. I stood up into 11th. We already were 11th. So that should have told me that I wasn't in front of him. But we are now in front of Ocon. So up next then is Mazepin. Not sure who's ahead of him. It's Hamilton. So Hamilton behind the other Alpine of Alonso. So the slipstream then of Mazepin to the left-hand side. Should be a fairly easy overtake because this Haas should be right at the back of the grid battling the Williams cars. Although he's trying to level me into this last corner. Around the outside, we have just about pulled it off there, but fair play, wasn't expecting that from Mazepin, and it looks like Perez is leading the race at the minute because he's on the fastest lap of the race.
You're in the top 10.
So we are up into the points playing positions. Still surprised about how far down the order Hamilton is. Bottas isn't doing too well either. He's behind both the Ferrari cars, which obviously aren't front-running cars in this game anymore. They used to be when it first came out, but they're not now. And Hamilton looking for a move on Alonso, but Alonso going very, very aggressively defensive. Will Hamilton be able to sweep around the outside with close right to the back of Hamilton, almost hit him up the back. Completely misjudged that one. He braked a little bit earlier than I expected. And it looks like Mick Schumacher's actually holding up both Alonso and Hamilton here in this train. So interesting to see. It's Schumacher versus Alonso versus Hamilton. Now those are some three very famous surnames in Formula 1, of course.
It's time to utilize some of this energy.
Jeff telling me to use some more energy, so I'll try and use some on Lewis here. Getting on the power nice and early, getting on the energy. We've got a little bit of wheel spin though, it's not quite good enough. We're in the slipstream of Hamilton, obviously he's in the slipstream of Alonso as well. We're able to make the move on Fernando, not quite. So we're stuck in this little train for now, and the leaders are really getting away. Schumacher doing a very good job so far though, because I blasted past Mazepin like he was standing still, so the Haas car really not that great at the circuit. Ocon is also in front of Mazepin now as well, so Schumacher doing an extremely good job to keep both Alonso and Hamilton behind him. Hamilton looking for a move on Alonso though, and I'm trying to look around the outside. Can't we capitalise on that on the power a little bit earlier than Lewis? Yes, we actually are. We're side by side with Lewis Hamilton now, using a little bit of our energy, but we're really running out. Here comes Alonso. Alonso making a move on Mazepin now. Not sorry, Mazepin. Schumacher. And we've got past Hamilton. Schumacher goes a bit defensive. We're going to try and go past Schumacher as well. And we're on the inside of Alonso a little bit as well. Bit of a lock-up. So we've passed Schumacher. We've passed Hamilton. Hamilton's still behind Schumacher, but he's forcing his way through now. And Alonso is the car ahead of us that we've got to focus on. But that was pretty chaotic then. Braking for turn 3 once again. As if we can close back up to the back of Alonso. And Hamilton is still side by side with Schumacher in the background. Lando Norris is retired. Will that be any kind of safety car? I don't know if the safety car is actually on in the 25% race. I think it should be, but I don't know if I have it turned on or off, to be honest. So through the double left-handers then, are we going to get some DRS on Alonso? I've ran a little bit hot in then. Hamilton is now behind us. He has dispatched of the Haas car, so he'll be definitely looking to re-overtake me. He should be able to, of course, he's in a much faster car, and I mean, I'm probably not as good as AI in this game either, so I'm not too great. But of course we've got Alonso ahead of us. Hopefully I can use Alonso maybe to, you know, just kind of keep Hamilton behind a little bit longer. If I can get a little bit of DRS off the back of Alonso just to keep Hamilton at bay. And then maybe if I can get past him as well, he can hold Hamilton up a little bit. It seems like there's a battle going on between one of the Ferraris, Bottas and Verstappen in front of us. Not sure which Ferrari it is. It's Sainz by the looks of it, because he's now dropped to the back of the group. We've got a really good slipstream here on Daniel Ricciardo. Not Daniel Ricciardo, I just read the name off the top. Fernando Alonso. Just force of habit, just reading the name that's on top of the car. So we've moved up into 6th position then. So up next is Carlos Sainz. And then it's Max Verstappen ahead of him. So I'm going to have to get my head down a little bit, see if we can catch up to the back of Sainz. So coming out of the last corner then, we've already got into the DRS zone of Carlos Sainz. You can see in front Leclerc is trying to hold off Bottas. We've just done the fastest lap of the race as well. So here we go to the left hand side, go around the outside of Sainz. Jeff talking to is putting me off a little bit. We've run really wide. That might allow Carlos to get the run back on us. Still side by side with Carlos. Using a little bit more energy as well, just to try and edge him out back off the energy again. He's got the DRS, but we're just so much quicker with that Mercedes power unit. I'm flying past him, and now Leclerc has gone from the lead of the group to the back of the group, because he was actually in front of Bottas starting coming out the last corner, and now he's behind both Bottas and Verstappen. So the Ferrari's been eaten alive on the start-finish straight, unfortunately for them. But as Jeff was saying, the pit window is coming up, and you can see with me locking up my tyres, I'm not looking after them particularly well, so I think it might be the benefit to maybe do the undercut strategy, but we might struggle at the end of the race. That's the only issue with that. So here we are then at the end of the 6th lap. We're finally close enough to Charles Leclerc to get the DRS and maybe think about making the move down towards the turn 1. Look at the overspeed here. We're around the outside of Leclerc, although he's still got the inside for now. Will he? He's actually blocked that really well, so fair play for an AI. That's some fantastic defending. I think a couple of cars are in the pits now. I think Sainz and Alonso both pitted, which has now left Lewis Hamilton right behind us. We're going to have a look at the inside of Leclerc into this right-hander. Vettel on the inside of Leclerc. The two previous teammates, Gasly, is now out of the race as well. So that's both Norris and Gasly out the race now. I wonder what happened to those two. I don't know if it was... obviously they weren't related because Lando Norris retired right at the start of the race. But we have got to pit on this lap. I don't know if any of the leaders will pit. Of course, one of the Red Bulls will have to stay out unless they're planning on doing a double stack, but they're way too close for that. So I'm presuming that Verstappen will have to stay out another lap, which could either really work in his favour, or he could be absolutely hung out to dry here, which could give us a shot at the podium because we are in a legitimate P4. It's not like anyone in front of us is actually pitted. So here we go, they're sliding out the last corner once again then, coming towards the pit lane. We have to brake for the line.
Verstappen is stopping now.
So it's actually Verstappen that is in, so it's Perez that's had to stay out, Perez and Bottas. So maybe the overcut is the preferred strategy then for the number one drivers, not too sure about that. Here we come then, we're coming into the obviously the Racing Point garage. So I don't think any of the team kit is updated in this mod, but here we go then. Letting out the clutch. Ooh, just in front of Leclerc. I think that was an unsafe release, to be honest with you, but the game has obviously done that and it's let us get away with it, so whatever. So release the clutch then, release the pit limiter, sorry. And actually here comes Alonso. Alonso's actually jumped us all, but as we go into this first corner, side by side with Alonso, he's had to leave us a bit of space. Obviously we didn't want to have a Maldonado Gutierrez moment, but around the outside of Fernando Alonso. So Alonso has actually jumped Charles Leclerc. So it looks like the undercut here is extremely powerful. So why Red Bull haven't pitted Perez, I have no idea. So Perez, the race leader, could lose the lead here to his teammate Verstappen, which maybe is what they wanted. Perhaps they wanted Verstappen to, do the undercut so he could jump ahead of Bottas, and obviously then Perez can just keep in front of Bottas on track and obviously stay ahead of him through the pit stops. So perhaps that's what Red Bull were thinking. It might actually be quite a good strategy, but Perez wouldn't be very happy, I don't think, if Verstappen manages to jump him. But I think we're definitely out of podium contention now because there's no way we're jumping Perez or Verstappen. Maybe we can jump Bottas, I'm not too sure about that, but we'd have to have a hell of an outlap for that. So here we go then, this will be the moment of truth. Will Bottas have lost position to Verstappen? We just had another purple last sector. Bottas is now the car in front of us, but he's still absolutely miles up the road. And Verstappen actually is still second place. So Red Bull have actually done a fantastic strategy. They've got their cars up into a 1-2 position by leaving Perez out. Obviously Bottas wanted to match what Perez was doing to try and stay with him. And Verstappen has jumped ahead of Bottas, but not jumped ahead of Perez. So Red Bull have called that absolutely perfectly. At the minute, they're on course for a 1-2. So nothing else has really happened in our race so far, but Bottas has actually managed to fight his way past both Red Bull drivers up into the lead of the race, and Verstappen has also got ahead of Perez, which happened first. I think Verstappen must have took the lead of the race. Bottas has then followed him through up into second place, and now Bottas has just overtaken Verstappen for the lead. So Red Bull have gone from the strategic amazement of the 1-2 down to 2-3, which is still good, of course, but Mercedes have just outdone them on car performance here. But Alonso has still actually got Hamilton behind us, so Alonso's done a hell of a defensive job here. Bottas has just taken the fastest lap away from me. So we had the fastest lap of the race. Bottas has just taken it now.
These tyres need to last till the end of the race.
And Jeff is telling me not to wear out my tyres too much, even though there's literally only 2 laps to go. I don't think we're going to catch up to either of the Red Bull cars, unfortunately, but it'd be really nice if we could just go into the back of Perez and maybe have an attack on that third position. We've got 2.2 seconds, but we've only got 2 laps to do it, so I don't know if we're going to do it. We've got it down to 1.7, but it's just not going to be enough. We're so close to the back of Albon yet so far, and Hamilton's finally jumped Alonso and just done the fastest lap of the race, but we should be safe from him. So as we come through the final turn then, the corner cut there, Bottas comes home to win the race, and we're going to come home as fourth place here as Sebastian Vettel at the Bahrain GP. I think he'd be pretty happy with that.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And we got driver of the day on top of that, so that is great. Obviously 12th to 4th place was a good result. So then, like I said, 12th to 4th position, getting driver of the day. Pretty good result here for our first race on the F1 2021 mod. But I hope you guys did enjoy that video. The second half of the race wasn't particularly that interesting, but the first half was pretty good, obviously making a lot of overtakes, getting up into 4th place. But that is my video on the F1 2021 mod. Maybe we'll return to this at some point, or if there's any other 2021 mods that come out, or this one gets updated, we could have a little look at those. Obviously none of the teams have launched yet, so there will be some updates to some of the mods, that's for sure. But like I said, I hope you did enjoy that one. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.